Alrighty, let's go. A little bit more CCL exhibition matches, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have Alliance versus Horde. Now, obviously, these are completely made-up team names, just because this is red versus blue. But our first map is Dragonshire, and these are teams of players that have been drafted for these exhibition matches. I'm going to talk about this in just a second. The one thing that you need to know is that these are 3 maps, so it's not a best of 3 per se. We're going to see 3 maps no matter the score, and the players have a chance to just showcase their skills a little bit. We got Noah De Haka for the blue team, Wit on Johanna, Yasu on white main, Sleepy Bear on grey main, and Whoopi on Kerrigan is on the right side. For the Horde, we got Zergling on Samuro, Masquerade on ETC, Breakwood on Sylvanas, Legacy on Stukov, and Deadwish on Abatha. The slug is in the house, baby. Time to slap. Okay, so just to give you guys a little bit of a background, I already uploaded a few of the games of these CCL exhibition matches. Pretty much the CCL is a league that's going to start in the US pretty soon, and the teams are drafted by organizations. So it's a little bit of a draft variant, and therefore players are given a chance to, just like show their skills a little bit, and this is what these exhibition matches are for right now. To be absolutely honest, it's more so an audience thing. It's more so like a promotional thing where they're trying to get some additional exposure for the CCL. If you know anything about the Heroes of the Storm scene, especially of course about the top players, then you've seen the top names. You know the best players. Granted, in this case it's a little bit different because all of these matches might take place on the North American server, but we have European players participate in them as well. So there is a chance that there's some NA people that don't know all of the EU players that are playing on a high level or vice versa. But generally speaking, it's not like someone like Mene, Caterpillar, Hazorps, Nick or someone else really needs to show how good they are. These people are going to be drafted one way or another. For players that are a bit more so on the mid-tier up at the top, this is a chance to maybe show their skills a little bit. But keep in mind as we're heading into this, these teams have been randomly drafted for those matches. So it's not like there's a lot of inherent synergy that they have because they practiced for hours and hours as a 5-man unit. Now, this is obviously still a bit of an exhibition setup, but if there are some mistakes in coordination, this is pretty much where that stems from. But as this starts, we have on Dragonshire, of course, the little setback for the red team that they don't have the 4th hit point pool on the map as we speak, so they need to be a little bit careful that they don't lose on the objective too hard in the early game. But especially with the Samuro setup topside, we have a bit of an aggressive stance here by the Horde. And again, team name is completely made up because red versus blue is just a little bit boring. It's kind of interesting to me how they actually have a double control on the Shrine considering that they're playing with Abatha. Would have been just more funny if Abatha would have moved up to the top and taken the Dragon Knight. But there are a couple of aspects to this draft that we have for the red team that are interesting. And one of them is that in the late game, if you go up against Abatha and Samuro, it's just pure cancer. This is like the best combo or one of the best combos to ruin your late game and just take down structures. Samuro in and of itself can already be a beast in that position. If he gets the symbiote support, then it's even stronger. And of course Abatha can go for the copier itself, which means you have tons and tons of Samuro clones just coming in and trying to take structures down. So if you run that in the late game, you can actually on the macro level do a whole lot of work. So that's something that the Alliance here has to be careful about. That could definitely be a problem later on in the game. We have for Abby the pressurized glance straight into the Adrenal Overlord. So a lot already of support for Samuro with the build setup that we're seeing here. Oftentimes on this map you will see also a couple of toxic nests mixed in just to slow down rotations between lanes and also grant a little bit of vision of the opponent's movement. Not so much in this game though. Blue team has been prioritizing camps a little bit more up to this point than the red team, as all of this starts to shape up here. And let's see if they can also push this out a little bit further at the bottom of the map now that they've taken the Bruiser camp. But let's not forget about the Sylvanas aspect that we have for the red team. So that also comes into play here, since we now have a pretty strong push setup that already at the top took 1 or 2 towers down. We got level 7 talents in for both teams, which actually gives us the hammer on here. We got the crushing blows after initially the way of the blade was taken. Over on him, Mule comes in. That's pretty standard as a pick. Abatha is the only one that still has Mule. And it forces a certain playstyle out of the opponent's team, since if you don't take a structure down, Abatha can always heal it back up. So you're kind of forced to really commit once that you're making a move for a fort, for a keep, or any kind of main structure. And of course, there's always the problem that you can't just simply YOLO onto a core and take it down. If you want to go for it, you have to make sure that you are able to finish it, or Abathur is going to ruin a lot of the work that you've done. ETC over here. Yep, there's the combo. And Kerrigan, yes, she can. Comes in and gets another kill. That's the first one in the game. The Alliance taking a bit of a lead over here. All right. We got Wit also on Johanna, so the European player here is gonna maybe even try to go into his Falling Sword again. Really likes that variation on the level 10. Usually uses it against Ana players in particular, but since Legacy is sitting on Stukov, it could actually also be a really nice tool to put pressure onto the backliner in this case. One thing that I also want to point out, in case that you haven't heard it yet, since all of these games are played out on the North American server, this also means that all of the European players that you see in these games have a ping disadvantage of roughly 120 to 140. That's usually the ping that they have to deal with on average, and as many of them have actually stated, it significantly changes the way that they have to play, since they can't play as reactive as they can on their home server. They have to focus a lot more on the macro aspects of the game, and cannot just simply make these reactive plays that are quite common when they're playing in their standard environment. Yeah, Isolation's already out. Oh, but unfortunately for him, the drag misses. Wit decides to go with the Blessed Shield over here this time. Needed the additional stun, which of course helps him also heavily against ETC, who could go into Mosh Pit here. They have a couple of stuns against that. And talking ETC, the cow slides out, barely. That was nearly a kill as they moved in for this one. The Ultralisk gets taken. Whoopi in this case was missing on the last bit of damage. But let's not forget that Samura sitting topside the entire time and is starting to get some solid damage onto those structures. I mean, Zergling is about to move in on the fort. Now makes the rotation to meet Noah. Actually, only sending one of the copies in. Keeps himself still up at the top. Has also got into the Illusion Master now. And as we are approaching the later stages of the game, you'll see how Abathur and Samuro are going to have a huge impact on the macro level. With all of that said and done, we have, as expected, also now the Mosh Pit over here. Zergling a little bit far out, and even with Abathur, he might actually die here. Ooh, yeah, nicely done. Dodging out on the isolation there. That was actually pretty cool. And he's able to jump away from it. But now that we also have Greymane moving in, that's a bit of a difference. So, oh, plays around with the vision. All right, baby. And it's the big escape attempt of Zergling, but at the end of the day, he still falls. Very nice effort by him. Was assisted a little bit by Abathur. They were trying to take the Dragon Knight in the meantime, up in the middle. Didn't quite work out, but that's the second kill now for the blue team. Let's not forget what happened during all of this, though. The fort topside has nearly fallen. So that also happened. So he actually baited a lot of time for his team, which is kind of cool. And that was a nice move. I mean, with the help of Abathur, he was nearly able to escape here in the first place. So that was pretty neat. As it happens, we got the top side taken over now. At the bottom of the map, Wit is, of course, taking the counter shrine. And we also have another camp taken. That's exactly where mainly Greymane comes into play. Zagara to an Kerrigan to an extent. Another Zerg Queen. But yeah, so 2 against 0. The lead in experience goes to the Alliance though. So the Alliance is a little bit farther ahead as Sylvanas is trying to lead the Horde to victory at the top lane. And could actually take, with the help of Samuro, the fort down and finally create a bit of catapult pressure over here. That's kind of what we're waiting for. Down at the bottom of the map, another camp is taken. As I said at the beginning, it seems like the Alliance is a bit more diligent around this. But here's the fort gone. Yeah, Samuro taking it. And now we have level 13 talents, which give us the Chrysalis for Kerrigan. They are still quite a bit ahead. And this is a nice push now. Level 13, and you can push with a camp into the fort. That's actually pretty neat. But it seems like the Horde wants to fight. I mean, of course the Horde wants to fight. Of course they want to. Horde always wants to fight. They're good at that shit. Always a little bit aggressive. So here we go already. Death Wish over here. He's a little bit far out. It seems a bit like he has a Death Wish, because if he gets locked down by this, then he has a problem. Oh, jumps in. Boy, you are... Yeah, okay. The Abathur copy over here. Baiting a little bit, getting some damage out, but that was a little bit tricky for just a second. I think he could have done maybe a little bit more with this. Either way, now that Abathur has lost the copy, he can't use that in the next upcoming fight. Up at the top, we have, of course, still a camp pushing. for the team. There's a nice mosh pit. Wit could interrupt and does with the condemn, but there's still a lot of them really low. Ult gets used by White Main, and in the backline, Stukov dies to Dehaka as they're trying to go for the plays once again. Topside is still pushing, and now they're taking the camp. ETC, Masquerade is lost and needs, he needs Google Maps, guys. He doesn't know where to go. So he's down, but in the meantime, that top lane has taken some damage. Dehaka is now starting to take over, but in the middle of the map, we still have Sylvanas going ham over here. And here comes Samuro. Yeah, the Horde is trying to go face over here. Yasuo's already getting attacked. And here comes the, well, maybe the Sylvanas play. Decides not to engage into it after all. It was a 3 versus 3 for a moment. But yeah, topside has taken some damage, so this entire thing is halfway pushed out. The problem is really the big lead in experience for the Alliance. They have the global. Well, you got Samuro and you got Abathar also against it, but Dehaka is doing a really good job in experience. Let's take a quick look at the numbers here in particular. Dehaka is sitting at 12,000 experience that he gained. As you can see, neither Samuro nor Abathar can really keep up with that. And the Horde really is playing this a little bit meh when we're talking about macro game right now. They really create a lot of pressure on structure, so at least initially they did with Sylvana, Samuro and Abathar. But now they're not really controlling the map as well as their opponent. And you can really see that also in minion experience, in the mercenary experience in particular. As I said, the Alliance has been way more diligent about those. There's the Blessed Shield on the other hand. The slide in the attempt to save Legacy. But even with the Gladiator's Medallion, he's likely to go down. But look at that mosh pit. Nicely done. Now the fort falls, but that mosh saved Legacy. Honestly, that mosh saved him. But here comes the kill against Sylvanas as the counter kill. They're still chasing down here as we have Zergling moving in. Samuro needs to be careful though. I don't think that he can get the kill there. This is starting to become a bit difficult for him. Jumped out again. And in the meantime, we have him now up at the top. So he could rotate completely towards the top, take it from there. 30,000 damage from Sylvanas. There's another slide as they're trying to go for Dehaka. Wait, careful. Yeah, nice fight, and Samuro is splitting off. Ooh, but Legacy is in trouble. Sleepy Bear wants him and should be able to get him unless he gets a slap. Nah, the cooldown is way too long. Abathar helping him a little bit. Oh, but he can't make it happen. Oh, that was unlucky. It looked like he might be able to escape, but nope. Greymane gets the cooldown back, jumps in and takes him down, so there's that. And off we go. Yasuo is also a bit low. Sylvanas is still at the bottom of the map. There's the kill against Zergling. They go for Masquerade, and he falls as well. 8 kills to 1. It pretty much tells the tale of this game. A late game scenario would be kind of cool for the Horde, but they are trailing behind in experience way too much. Level 20 seems to be inevitable at some point here. And now we have the first Dragon Knight taken. Took 12 minutes to grab the first one, but now that the objective is also controlled by the blue team, it feels more and more likely that they are gonna get ahead here. On 16, we get the Envenomed Spine, so no Adrenal Overlord over here. Sorry, no speed boost. We have him just simply playing through the slows, which is kind of cool too if you want to control it. I mean, we had in the past, especially when you are playing with the Muradin that wants to proc his 7, for example, had a bit of a play on this. If you're playing any kind of melee assassin that's trying to chase, then you can take a lot of advantage out of that too. But of course, a movement speed boost is neat if you're trying to just like rush in, rush out, want to help someone to reposition. But as you can see, it's getting rough down here on the defense. They have the tools in the long run that they can use to just be aggressive on the map, but not if they're starting to fall behind like this and just taking the backseat here. So yeah, it's getting a bit difficult because that keep might actually be held for now. I mean, they have 5 versus 5 with even talents, so they might be able to hold it. I was honestly initially pretty sure that the Alliance had a good shot at taking this down, but they are really playing around at the front too much. But ETC is down, and that's a problem. Oh, they're trying to get the counter kill, but Whitemane is ready with the ult once again. But now that's a 5 versus 4. Even with the Slapperoonie here from Stukov, it seems like this one is toast. Keep gets attacked, and the Alliance might just be able to win this one. The Horde seems to be a little bit vulnerable over here. Yeah, they need a War Chief at this point. Sylvanas, let's go. Needs to come in, but of course Mule is ready, so if the blue team doesn't commit, that keep is gonna be fine. And it seems like they won't be able to make the move. They wait for the next minion wave, they have to wait for that, And this is the moment to really take down the keep, and they're succeeding. The keep is down. The little mule that wanted to help couldn't really. We have nearly level 20 now for the Alliance, so they are starting to take a very, very solid setup here. Yeah, so damage output. Let's take also a quick look at that as more camps are taken. We have mainly Greymane in a good position for the blue team. On the red team side, it's still Sylvanas and also Abathur that are taking the lead. Of course, Noah is controlling the map quite nicely from a global perspective. But as I said previously, if you look at the experience over here, the main difference in experience outside of kills alone is this setup with mercenaries. And this is really where the blue team just fell short a bit. Blue team is getting a bit defensive. They won 20, but here comes the aggression. Nice, that's a perfect play from the Horde. That's exactly what they need to do. Steal the camp away, be aggressive before the opponent hits their Storm Talons. Now it's a 5 versus 4. They could maybe even stick around at the top and try to push this. As long as it's a 5 versus 4, they have a bit of a chance to make some plays here. Once that we have a 5 versus 5 back on the map, the big problem that will arise is that difference in experience and the talent advantage of the Alliance. So they are hoping to grab an objective, of course. But Stukov, yeah, should maybe sit here just so he sees whoever comes in. Has his ult, so he can slap them around a little bit. Takes control of the bush as we speak. But now that Kerrigan is moving down to the bottom for another camp, it seems like there's going to be more and more people trying to help out here. Someone moving into the middle. Abathur maybe, trying to slug it out a little bit. Not likely, since still, Jojo is still around here. Up at the top, Abathur and Samuro trying to get the kill against Noah as they're starting to crush. It's a double shrine control. But of course, Greymane is going to be back soon TM as well. And Jojo is still guarding the middle, so nobody can take that Dragonite, which would definitely be a relief for the Horde. Not only because they have then some tool to push a little bit further, but also they would deny it to the Alliance, because now that they have a 5-man on the map, and they have level 20, they're going to be very, very eager to use those advantages to grab themselves another objective and maybe end the game through the bottom of the map. All the way at the top, there's the drag already. Zergling is also starting to pressure Noah more and more. And you can really tell how this late game Samuro is starting to become a massive pain in the ass. So, with all that said and done, Abathur can still help him out. Nearly level 20. I gotta say, they still have a chance to come back into this. This game isn't over. There is a lead for the Alliance. There's no doubt about that. But the Horde doesn't give up. The Horde goes face. And that's what they can do now that they have the level 20 talent. So Storm talents are in for both teams, and that gives us the Hive Mind, of course. Samuro also has finally access to the 3-bladed style right here. And talking about, someone needs to be a little more defensive down there. Jojo is in. Needs a little bit of free damage, but can they push now? Someone has to deal with the bot lane, honestly. That's a big camp that is pushing in. There's 2 catapults already. We have 17 minutes on the board. A 3rd catapult is coming. I'm a little bit shocked. Oh, that blessed shield missed hard. That blessed shield did nothing. Oh, they haka down the mosh pit, baby. And that's the end of Jojo. ETC dies, but he dies for a good cause. Zergling moves away, but the core shields are falling. Ooh, Kerrigan coming in too. And yeah, Abathur loses the copy. They still have to defend the bottom. They got Mule. Keep that in mind. If the core loses a couple of hit points, it doesn't matter if they trade well, because they can always use Mule. Now they go for the Sleepy Bear, and the Sleepy Bear turns into a dead bear. And they get Kerrigan as well. Nice. Kill after kill after kill for the team here. Nicely done. They're looking for Yasu. And they get him too. Nicely done. Yeah, awesome job. Now, of course, there's the Mule already, as we have the core being replaced slowly. But yeah, look at these kills. What a beautiful setup. They get all the damage dealers. Now they can move to the top. And keep in mind, they got Sylvanas. Guys, they got everything. They can go for the finishing blow right here. While they mule up their own core, they have a chance. And Abathur, he's slugging into the middle. Oh yeah, come here, baby. Come here. All the slaps. He gets all the slaps. And he gets the Dragonite. Yes. Here we go. In the meantime, the attempt to go for the cores. They're trying to make the play here. And the Horde is looking victorious once again. Yep, that is the comeback. 6.5 out of 10, baby. 11 kills to 7. But kills don't count. It's all about the core. And the red one The red team, they're successful. They take it down. The Alliance losing game number 1 in this exhibition match. GG and well done. Game number 2, the Horde taking down the Alliance on Dragonshire, now in Volskaya Foundry, our second map. And well, let's check this out. Over on the left side, we got the blue team, the Alliance, with Noah on Blaze in game number 2, Wit on Garrosh, we got Sleepy Bear on Jaina, Yasu on Ana, and Whoopi is playing Sylvanas. The Horde with Deathwish on Greymane, we got Zergling on Diva this time, Breakwood on Liming, Legacy on Deckard, Kane, and Masquerade on Tyrael. Okay, so while we're starting into the beginning of the game, let me also talk a bit about some of the stuff that players are facing here. Sometimes when you see some of these compositions, part of what makes those comps is also that certain players might just not have the hit point pool that you would expect. Especially some of the European players have been continuously talking about this, that especially playing with North American players, they had to adjust to a completely different style where sometimes different metas are just clashing, since they expect certain players in a role to have access to a variety of heroes that are very common in the European server, that are played in the European meta, whereas on the North American side other priorities exist, so that sometimes leads, depending on who's drafting, to just completely different comps, and where you have to make certain compromises, where one hero might have fit the composition a little bit better, but because of individual preferences or different styles, you have to then adjust a bit. That can lead to other disaster in a draft if that unfolds slowly. As I said, these people are thrown together for these games, so they haven't really played for a long time together, where everybody knows what a certain person plays, what they are preferring, and what heroes they usually tend to pick. But just to keep that in mind a bit too, as always with these exhibition matches, voices coming out right away saying like, oh my god, they should have done this, they should have done that. But there are certain things where you just have to compromise if you're in this setup. And as I said before, this is just to show your skills a little bit and get some exposure. It's more or less for the B-level players, right? If you are someone that is a former HGC pro, then of course you don't really need that exposure anymore. You've been playing on the highest level of play for long enough that everybody knows how good you are and what you do. So, as we're heading into this, we got the turrets taken by both of the teams, spawning at the 1 minute mark. It's of course the first focus for most teams, but now we're talking about the healing beam up at the top. And let's see if the red team contests that. The Horde is sniffing that out, but they're a bit too late. So Ana is even dropping another quick sleeping dart, which doesn't connect, but that's not really what it was meant for anyways. We got a level 4 Triumvirate, and we got the potion of shielding over here, over Ruby for Deckard Kane. Yeah, also, with that said, Zergling is trying to lock Noah down long enough so that Deckard Kane can come in with the seal, which doesn't quite work for him. Diva, in this case, with the pro moves and the rush down on level 4. And yeah, we'll see where this goes. I mean, of course, if you're playing with the setup and around Greymane and Tyrael, you want to really provide cover with the sanctification. You want to come in and empower Greymane to do his thing. So you're jumping in with both heroes and you try to be super aggressive. Tyrael in general is also quite helpful if you're attempting to hold a certain spot, and since the objective caters to exactly that scenario, he is a very strong hero here. Usually played with another defensive hero though. Let's say for example Blaze, who can pop a bunker so that you have the 2 layers of defense. Not so in this case. We got instead Diva in, which at least for zone control is quite nice and can really create that space for the backline in particular. So really good for the peels. And with Greymane at the front, you will have a lot of space and wiggle room for Liming in the back to get the damage out and hopefully unmolested here. On the other side, it's a setup that relies a bit more on them being able to lock someone down so that Jaina can get that burst damage in. If you can get those stuns connected through Blaze's jet propulsion or maybe even Garrosh and his ult later on, that's of course already neat. A nice sleeping dart from Ana would help of course too. And let's not forget that if you're actually in a setup, a nano boosted Jaina is not the only thing that you can really rely upon. We've seen tons and tons of nano boosted Sylvanas on the European side. Paper Malady as a team with Gore Rider comes to mind, who is insane when he gets that boost and drops damage numbers that are absolutely incredible. So that's definitely something that we can also see here. Calamity comes in, again mandatory talent for Li Ming on the high level, on level 7. and that really allows you with another damage tool to be highly aggressive here. But at this point, Gladiator's Medallion gets used by Masquerade as he needs to make his way out of this situation. Got ganged up by 3, and that nearly led to him falling. But so far, the game has not seen a single hero die yet. But Teriel had to go back. Needs to go back to the Nexus. Already an early turret, way early. That's actually a little bit of... Oh my god, what are they doing? Okay, they're really trying to lock that in. I don't really think they needed to drop both of them. I'm a little bit surprised. Obviously, dropping both of the items secures them to protect 100%, but there was no real need for them to commit to that this early. So that's a little bit of a waste of items, to be quite frank. Just dropping one would have been enough. I don't think they had to drop any here. They were already in a great position. They had pretty much the perfect position to lock in the protector without dropping any items. And if you can hold on to them, you always want to, so that you can use them a little bit later. But that was a bit, well... I mean, either way, they get the protector, so that's already great. That's a good step for them. The goal is usually to take the fountain down at the top lane, but the red team is really reacting with full force and in the attempt to take this down. But that, of course, opens up the bot lane, and the blue team identified that immediately. So they might lose the protector up at the top. The question is now rather what's happening at the bottom of the map, because that's where Sylvanas set up a push. But even here, there's not a lot that they got. They got a tower and they got nearly the gate, but both of these fountains are still in play. So there's that. If you can set up something at the bottom of the map and get the third lane prepared for the objective, that's kind of neat. But in this case, I gotta say that the Alliance didn't really get a whole lot done. Now, they opened the top up a little bit, so if they can use that gap to take the fountain down before the next objective becomes relevant, that would be nice. That gives them a lead in the fight itself. But for the time being, at least, the defense that we've seen from the Horde was pretty solid. Item control, that's a bit of a different story, though. This is the second time now that the Protector got taken here without any problems. So Gia over here is with Sylvanas still riding around and trying to get his damage in. We got the missiles again as the heroic ability for D.Va. Also proper play here. Wave of Force. Again, you never really want to take Disintegrate unless you have an Anubarak player against you that drops the Cocoon, so that you can burn the Cocoon down and trade cooldowns. Outside of that, it's always Wave of Force. If you are a player that knows how to play the hero, you can create a lot of opportunities either for yourself, save heroes, and more. So, now that they're starting to jump on Yasuo, it turns out that Ana might have been a bit too far out. There's the Water Elemental for a bit more control with Greymane in play. Water Elemental gives you a bit of a layer of safety as Jaina, and of course can be really nice to just control the flow. We got Noah at the bottom of the map doing now exactly what I talked about a bit earlier. He takes the fountain down, so that already preps them for objective number 3. It's a bit strange that he did actually not head back earlier. The team must have told him that there's a rotation very likely towards him. So if he dies here, that's his own fault. That is a totally unavoidable kill. So even after he took the fountain down, he overstayed a little bit. He could have moved back a lot further. So on the one hand, great job for taking the fountain down. On the other side, definitely overstaying, and he should have been told by the team. First of all, you should have checked the minimap. Second of all, he should have been told by the team that there's a rotation coming his way, and then dealt with it. Either way, the fountain is down, but oh, the combo! Nicely done. Good attempt. I like what they did here. I like the idea behind this at the top, but it didn't quite work out, as you could see. But let's take another look at it. I mean, they're coming in with an attempted kill against Sylvanas, and then you can see the D.Va setup comboed off with Deckard Cain. It gets the full explosion value through, but they're not able to get a kill, and that's partly because Garrosh actually threw out the target over the wall and therefore saved it. So nicely done by him. But that was pretty neat. I actually like that. That was a pretty fun setup that they had here. But now that the objective is popping up in another 8 seconds, it's all about the level 13. It's kind of interesting that we only had a single kill so far, so the Horde has taken the 1 kill, but that's pretty much that. Up at the top, let's see what we're gonna get here now. The fountain is down, so they lost fountains at the top lane and the bot lane, and they are still talent behind, but that's not gonna last for much longer. So they're attempting to take Wit down, but he's just holding on to that corner for as long as he can to give them the opportunity here. So, yeah, 13 is in. That gives us the Ancient Blessing. Illusionist, super important for Li Ming with the setup here, of course, so that doesn't come as a shocker. But Sylvanas is pushing the bot lane. So, yeah, Gia over here, Whoopi is starting to make the plays. And this is getting a bit annoying for the Horde. The Horde has troubles with this. I mean, look how heavily they're focusing on the top. They're giving this up for free. This is a total freebie, pretty much. I mean, even if it doesn't get taken down now completely, this is up for grabs whenever they want it. So they don't overstay, they don't give a chance for any rotation to kill them. In the meantime, up at the top, as long as they can keep Wit alive, that's all that they need to know. The Nano Boost was in too. D-Weisen here, this is a 5 versus 4. They flank in, they get the initial kill, and they're looking for more. And with the help of Garrosh, they might just be able to pull that off. Now, of course, the Sanctification puts a bit of a damper on this one, but here comes another attempt to go for Ana. Greymane, on the other hand, is down. Greymane down, now they're going for the mech. And I just gotta say, the Alliance is playing this way more coordinated than their counterpart. And this is starting to get really dicey for them. Wow, perfect sleeping dart by Yasu. Nicely done by him. But there's another kill. Li Ming popping off a little bit. So that was a weird one. We have 2 kills on each side. Let's take a look at some of what just happened. As they were able to get the kill against Greymane, they were trying to go for the next one. Zergling was able to escape here. At least initially. And then he was taken down, but that just led to a whole barrage of kills that we got. And now it's time for the red team to take over on the objective again. They are slightly behind in experience, but both teams have now 3 kills. We have 67% already for them. But this is an awkward one. I gotta say that on the macro level, when it comes to plays on lanes and attempts to go for structure, the Horde is definitely suffering. The rotations are much crisper that we see from the Alliance, and initially that led to a 5 versus 4 advantage up at the top for them, but they couldn't quite capitalize on it because once that we had everybody move in from the Horde, they got their counter kills, so it's still rather close, and the red team is now aiming for the objective and should be able to lock this one in too, since Sylvanas isn't here yet, so there's one protector now for them, but they need to gain some momentum if they really want to come, I don't want to say come back into this, but if they want to if you want to create a little bit of a balance on structures. They were able to do some damage topside, and actually that's exactly where the Protector is now moving into, to at least take this fort down. But they need to do a little bit more, because Blaze has now taken the bottom of the map, so they're trading 1 for 1, which is absolutely neat for them. There's a bit more of an attempt here in the middle. Let's not forget about the level 16 talents that are quicker for the Alliance, so that gave them a slight advantage for a few seconds, where the red team had to be more concerned about grabbing experience than about pushing, because they could fall into a trap here. So now we got them with a Rhetoric Staff, but again, it's a very solid defense against the Protector, as everybody jumps on it. And of course, the idea is once more to take out the Found at the next objective, which is going to be objective number 3 at the bot lane. So taking the wall completely opens that up for later on. Yeah, there's another lockdown attempt here. And they might be able to go for Wit. Tyria might have to go for the Sanct, but nope, there's the ult on the side of Deckard Cain. Whoopi in trouble, and there's the kill. Sylv is down. Beautiful Sanctification. Absolutely gold. And they got another kill together with it too. That Sanctification was money. Just check that setup out. So they have the initial setup, they go for Gia, they are able to take him down, then everybody starts to drop low, beautiful Sanctification comes through, it allows them the second kill, and they follow it up with the third shortly after. But this is exactly what you're trying to do with a good Sanctification. You make sure that you can go way more aggressive, you dive in deep, you get the additional kills, and just as you are about to fall, you drop the Sanct, it allows you to propel forward even more, you save your team, and you get 3 kills in the process. Really, really nicely done by the Horde here. Beautiful play for Masquerade in particular, and of course Deadwish too, who just followed up with kill after kill, allowed break within the back with Li Ming to get even more volleys out that he connected nicely. But that leads us to 6 kills to 3, and the Horde has taken over significantly. All the forts are down, every single one destroyed. Initially the Alliance was the team leading on structures, but the tables have turned against them. We have all of the forts eliminated on the Alliance side. We got a lead in experience and kills for the Horde, and they are looking pretty good right now. So it's again important to note that at the bottom of the map, when we talk objective 3, both teams don't have a fountain nearby or a fort. So it's time to see who can take an advantage on items. We have currently 3 items already for the red team, so the Horde is actually looking at a fair amount of things they can use in the next fight. We have a double turret and we have a healing beacon. With Oh my god, can they kill him too? They're trying. Nice flip on Death Wish, but there's no fort anymore. There's the kill against Garrosh. The Horde does what it does best. It goes face and kills people. So, Masquerade is trying to get out. The water elemental high on his heels, but instead we might actually see Jaina fall. Breakwood came in with Li Ming and used the Wave of Force, but couldn't get the perfect angle to push Jaina in a little bit further. So we still have 7 kills against 4. And as it happens, another item up on the map, which the red team can now grab. They haven't really used anything massively in the last fight, so they can instead now focus on this one, which will give them the second healing beacon. So now they have 2 healing beacons and 2 turrets. And honestly, that's massive. If you're that far ahead on items before you head into the third objective, that's absolutely fantastic. Especially since the red team, the blue team has nothing. They got fuck all. So Noah is trying to lock Zergling down, but D.Va should be fine over here. Well, cooldowns. Oh, good sleep dart. Ooh, run Zergling, run! Maybe he's not fine. Nope, there's too many slows. He's dead. That's a nice kill. The problem is we might actually see a couple of counter kills. Nice attempt by Li Ming, but also a good dodge by Jaina. She does have her trade ready. Yeah, there we go. Comes in, not the trade, but the baseline. Gets the kill against Li Ming too. Oh, baby, there. Now we're talking. Nicely done. Jaina, fierce today, but Greymane was able to get the kill. Good jet propulsion. Nice. Masquerade is on the run. 2-for-1 trade so far in these fights, but it's not over yet. And it seems like Sylvanas is taking Greymane out. Oh my god. And on the left, Legacy! Legacy! He's dead too. Level 20 is in for the red team, but it doesn't mean anything if you lose everybody. They lose every hero, but just look at this setup topside. Look at Jaina. Look at how she turns and gets the kill. So there's the ice block first of all, then she sees the opportunity and absolutely murders Li Ming over here. So great play by them. And what initially looked like another big teamfight victory for the Horde turned heavily against them. 4-to-1 trade, 20 versus 20. The advantage in items lost to the red team. And now the move for the third objective at the bottom of the map that they can go for quite easily now. That is an insane setup. I like this. Cool game, back and forth. Game number 1 was already incredible, if we're honest about it. It looked like it was a sure victory for the blue team. And then the Horde just turned it completely on its head with their own 6.5 out of 10 moment. Going full IGN on them. But right now, this should be another big fight once the Deckard Cain is back. He should have enough time to move down at the bottom of the map. Masquerade is actually double checking what's happening over here and looks if he can maybe steal a camp away. But now that they've taken their own camp, they're starting the rotation. Jaina arrived a few seconds later up at the top left, so that puts her into a position to take this one, to counteract the topside pressure. But the rotation at the bottom of the map has now been visible to the Alliance, as of course they needed to move into range here. Zergling is already propelling out, denies a bit of vision through the wall. We have Tyrell in the middle, anchoring the place, and by now position is taken, and, well, it's going to be the big one. We're talking about 20 versus 20 right now. And on items, this is, of course, now, Masquerade. Yeah, nice. That Druins was worth gold. So, they try to take this one in the middle. That's fine. They're willing to give this one up. They have 2 turrets. Down here, they're playing it safe. They're playing it slow. They only keep D.Va on the point. Blue team still has the lead. And they want to try to get another item. So they take whatever they can and check this one out. But they have to make the rotation towards the bottom of the map eventually, and they really need to hurry. So here's the beacon. Yeah, rotation. They see everybody coming in, so Tyrell sees the move from the top, and they're already putting Legacy on point. But here we go. This is going to be the play. This is going to be the fight. They're already slowing them down slightly. Top side is still getting pressure. Down here, Wit is taking quite some damage against Zergling, so he's already a bit low as all of this starts. And there's another combo. And already we have the items out, or at least 2 of them. They're still trying to make the plays as the blue team is attempting to take over. They flip into the back. Sanctification is out as Greymane is starting to make his play. Up at the top, the D.Va explosion hits Blaze, who barely gets into the bunker. He's still incredibly low and goes down easily. They're looking for the second kill. With the plays as he saves everyone. With the exception of Anna, who's completely caught into a corner. And that's another one. They try to go for the next one. Zergling still alive and kicking. And there it is, the triple kill. And that is a Protector. The Horde not giving up here at all. Initially with keeping everybody alive, but right now the Horde is crushing through the bot lane again. Now this is very likely not going to be the game-winning move. I would be surprised if it was. Granted, they have Greymane, but they don't have Sanctification cooldowns ready. If they get the keep, that would be a big win, as is. And they are starting to make exactly that move. Now, Sylvanas needs to be careful, and so does Jaina. If they die, that's a different story. Staggered deaths now could be the end of it. Now, in an ideal world, the Horde is going for Koa, and they're going to try. If they also just get it down a little bit, that would already be a success. They still got a lot on the Protector. Maybe they can break through it and keep Greymane in mind. He's a beast on this one. But here's Sylvanas. Nice, gets caught, and there's the kill. Oh my god. Dead Wish goes for Jaina. That's another one. You can ice block this all day. It's not going to matter, and that is game. That 2-0 for the Horde after 2 out of 3 games. Wow, what a turn again. Beautiful series so far by the two teams as we are jumping into game number 3. Game number 3. As mentioned, everybody, this is not a best of 3, this is not a best of 5. These are just like 3 maps that are played no matter the results. So the Horde already has the 2-0 lead, and this is going to be the final map. So let's find out if the Alliance is able to at least put 1 point onto the board, or if the red team is completely crushing them. It was a fun series so far, I gotta say, though. A lot of fun games here. Whoopi, AKGia on the left side on Gul'dan. We got Noah on Tracer, Wit on ETC, Yazu on Lucio, and Sleepy Bear on Sonya. On the right side of the map, Zergling on Urel. We got Breakwood on Reyna, Deadwish for the Horde of Medivh, and Legacy on Ana with Masquerade coming in last but not least on Imperius. Imperius and Urel, already a super annoying setup to go up against. But, well, let's see what he can do with this. Bit of a brawl in the middle coming up first of all, with Gul'dan in particular, getting some stacks together for his level 1. Interesting also, we got the parting gift here for Tracer, not really the standard these days. Usually it's the 1-2 punch that we're seeing with the builds for Tracer, but there will be discrepancies between the North America and European meta. And since we have an NA player this time going for it, that explains also slight differences in builds. Again, there's obviously some talents where you can always lean one way or another. There's a couple that are absolutely mandatory if you're playing on a high level. Liming on the last game was a very good example of this with Calamity on level 7. And, well, at this point, let's just see where all of this goes. But yeah, as the game continues, also, again, if you guys want to support the channel and also live coverage here, all the things that come in with esports, then you can head over and check out patreon.com/Khaldor. Big shout out to all of the supporters. As I said in the past, you guys are the reason why I'm able to put in new features like this replay system for instant replays, where I can improve on the setups with the video camera, microphones and audio quality and all of that. So big shout out, big thank you. And if someone hasn't really supported our channel yet and wants to do so in the future, check out patreon.com/Khaldor. It's appreciated. Thank you. In the game, we got our kill versus 0. And, by the way, we got Exterminator. So already working a little bit towards the objective, towards the camps, and towards potential defenses against the objective itself if taken by the opponent. But with 14 stacks, I gotta say, Gul'dan is off to a really good start on this one. We also have a bit of a different setup here for ETC with the block party. Doesn't really have to go for block party, honestly, especially since Jimmy did go for Exterminator over Ace in the Hole. You can, you don't have to. This is usually a map where you will see a lot more prog rock simply because you can get your stacks quite easily for the talent. So that's something that we could have seen here. Decided to go into the block variation, which is not really unheard of either. But oftentimes, as I said, on this map you will see more proper picks than anything else, unless you go again against a hyper auto attack setup. 20 stacks for Medivh, by the way, also a very good opening for him. If he is able to stay alive until he completes the quest, it would be quite neat. We have, in the meantime, Hurricane taken, especially on Infernal Shrines. You oftentimes see these sustainable Whirlwind builds for Sonya if you're trying to simply have position on the shrine and have a sustainable setup. Yeah, that needs to be careful here. Now, every single time you see a Medivh, it's always a question of how do you control the portal plays. Junkrat is one of the best heroes that you can possibly draft against Medivh for portal control with the mines that he has. If you have ETC, he's very good with this too. And even Lucio comes in with some really nice tools, especially with the boot back, to just deny people entrance to the portal if someone tries to portal them out. Over here, though, very aggressive stance by Zergling, and they try to actually steal this away. They might be able to pull it off too, but it puts Deadwish into a bit of an awkward spot here in the back. He needs to stay alive with the 24 stacks that he has. In the meantime, the fight over the point itself is already raging on, and here comes the first kill. Tracer's already down for the blue team as they're trying to go for the follow-up kill, and they're going to get the one against Imperius. There we have it, a 1-for-1 trade, and Medivh comes in with a kill against Sonya. Another one bites the dust as Jimmy goes down. And we have 2 kills for 2, 23 stacks for Gul'dan, and also 29 for Medivh. Yeah, nicely done here. And oh boy, did we have some action on this one. A very aggressive stance from the Horde, as usual. They were trying to steal the camp away. That backfired a little bit, but it was a 2-for-2 trade then after all. But the Alliance have the early level 7 talent, and they get the early access also on the objective. So as the dust settles, the blue team is slightly ahead of their opponent here. Now, we still got the locked and loaded in. We still got the pulse generator on level 4 for Tracer. We have, in addition to that, the Divine Steed, as so often seen, right there. A little bit of a fight in the middle already breaking out as they're trying to make the play for Zergling. Yeah, Yrel needs to be a bit careful. Imperius is also there, waiting for that connect in the back line. Medivh with 36 stacks is looking for a few more. If he can complete it here, that would be fantastic. Sitting at 38, only 2 more, but the Arcane Punisher is already taken, and they're trying to follow it up with an additional kill. Yrel is low. If there's a slide, then she is gonna be gone, but is able to get out. Medivh on 38, sorry. And can easily get that if he connects one more. And there it is. Quest completed. Time to feed, baby. Masquerade also a little bit low. Needs to be careful here with all of those arcane sentries also being on the ground. And the blue team is pressuring, and is pressuring hard right now. The Ford still alive though. Jimmy coming in with the Exterminator to really show that Punisher how it's done. And a bit of a portal setup that doesn't really lead to anything. But of course the rotation towards the bot side by the blue team is happening as they're trying to go for some additional camps here. And they're moving in for the first one. Trying to take this one right away. Bam! This one's down. And let's see what else they can get. Deadwish is already sitting tight all the way up on the right side. We have currently at the top side our 1 versus 1 scenario between Sonya and Yrel. Masquerade is also moving in, trying to put additional pressure on Sonya. Nice, good connect. Very nice opening also by Zergling. And Sleepy Bear is taking a bit of a beating here. Is able to stay alive, but that was a nice move. There's also a mini wave coming into the middle that they have to be careful on. Down here at the bottom of the map, another camp. And again, this is something, I highlighted this in the first game. The Alliance is doing a bit of a better job with the camp control. So they are usually getting a bit farther ahead and take those neutral camps that are situated in the middle between the 2 teams. They've done this on Dragonshire, and they're also starting to follow the same pattern on the 3rd map. And it really helps them to gain some extra experience over their opponent. They are half a level ahead right now. Obviously, some of this stems also by them winning the first objective and being slightly ahead in kills. But it's quite noteworthy because with that lead, they can now lock in another camp and even get farther ahead on experience. So it's a pretty sexy setup that they're playing here. And that's the beauty of having an early level 10 against your opponent and then using that advantage to take camps and maybe even another structure. Nice portal again. Good job by Deadwish. But here comes the play against Jimmy, who's able to get away. Polybomb comes now in, but that fort is down. So the Alliance, again, in the early stages, doing a very, very decent job here, capitalizing on the advantages that they have. They look at the map control. But then again, we had 2 games that looked similar and then backfired hard as they were pretty much murdered by their opposition. So, yeah, here comes another sleep dart. As they're already setting this one out, and it could be followed up. But, this time it's actually Imperius that needs to be careful. But the portal is helping him once again. So yeah, neat game so far. As we had in the first 2. But, let's see. Mid lane, Yrel, the goat is sitting there, and this is like, oh boy. I need to actually take care of that. But, still, here comes the next move. As we have everybody starting to move towards the top side again. Yeah, Shrine activating. That's the second objective, of course. 3 kills to 2 right now. Let's move down to the bottom. Breakwood is already here. And, well, let's go. One camp to be taken. On the left side, the same thing is happening. Pretty even. 11 versus 11. No talent advantages. Zergling trying to get a bit of a lead in pressure at the bottom of the map. Yeah, pushes the lane out just a little bit so that they have a slight advantage here. But now the red team needs to wait at the top. So, closes that gap in experience just a little bit. I don't think it's going to be too significant for this one. At least it shouldn't be. But that's a bit of lane experience that will be lost to the Alliance. But here comes the real play. The jump onto Tracer. A little bit of a flip back. But on the objective, we have the first 10 points going over to the Alliance. So they are starting to take the lead for that. Noah also moving out as we speak. And, well, off we go. Time to party and party hard over here. Looking for it. Let's see what they can do. They're already trying for Medivh in the back. The nano booster's already hit him as he's starting to get some damage too. There's the polymorph. The play! Oh, what a timing on that sound barrier. But Imperius... Oh, you gotta be kidding me, really? Imperius connects the stun, but Lucio slides away. Urel dropping the old 2, 3 kills to 2, 21 to 7 points on the objective, and they are on the run. Zergling gets popped like a pimple by Gul'dan, who also completes the quest in the process. Beautiful advantage now for the Alliance. They might be a bit low, but Lucy is doing his best to heal everybody up. 5 versus 4, and yep, that is a bit tricky for the Horde. They're about to lose another Punisher. Sonya is moving down to the bottom of the map to secure them additional experience over here. Nice plays here topside. And of course, with that pressure, they are now hoping to use that level 13 advantage that comes with it to go straight in for the fort itself. They burn that down easy peasy. And it should allow them to open the wall at the keep top. That's kind of the dream right now. Do as much as you can, catapult it forward. It's a 5 versus 5, but you got the wave clear on Gul'dan. Can easily push this through. You got the health stone on level 13, the Encore, no escape. There's the bait of the wall. Side is already opened up, but there's no follow-up. But if you drop the wall and open up the keep, that's already a big win. So that's a big one. And, well, let's see what they can actually pull off with this. Wall is completely open. We got a bit of damage against the keep itself, so that's kind of nice. Level 13 is finally ready for the Horde, so they are drawing even on talents. But these camps are stolen away again, and I've talked about it, but let's highlight it again in numbers. Look at the mercenary experience here. They're doubling what the red team has. They're easily doubling the mercenary experience. But as I said previously, thanks to these rotations from Urel, we have a bit more minion experience on the side of the Horde. If that wasn't the case, the gap between the two teams would be even wider than it is. But thanks to those rotations from Urel with the Divine Steed, they were able to keep ahead a little bit on minion experience and therefore not fall too far behind. But it's still a level difference. So it's still a little bit tricky. You can see the difference here between the experience on Urel and Gul'dan or Sonya in this case. So it's a huge one actually. But it's that mercenary setup for the blue team that really makes the difference here for them. And they're taking another camp situated in the middle. They also grabbed a level 15. And let's see how much deeper they can go with this, as Sonya is starting to take to the left side of the map to take another camp. Tracer, careful! Uh-oh, that was clutch, but Yasuo is in trouble. And Yasuo is down. There's a kill, they're looking for more, they're trying to go for Noah. This time, Tracer is able to zip out, but Lucio is dead. Those nano boosts on Medivh are starting to give him quite some tools here to use. Not really the normal target for a nano boost. But then again, if you're looking at the setup, he is pretty much the best recipient in this particular composition. And it also, of course, helps him a lot with the utility during those fights, which is kind of nice for them. We have level 15 on both sides now, and on kills, it's not really that much of a difference. For the Alliance, I mean, if I'm the Alliance, I'm a bit worried at this point, because I've been here before. Taken the early game lead, started to take structures down, and then all of a sudden, a few team fights turn the entire game on its head, and the Horde does what it does the best. It still goes face. So they're trying to go for the camp up at the top. They actually, oh wow, that's a pretty disciplined move. Instead of making the YOLO moment for the camp because of the looming level 16, they're saying, guys, let's just fall back. I gotta admit, I admire the discipline here. So whoever made the call, the rest of the team followed it without question. and they just moved back. So they let the camp slide. They didn't go and die on that hill. Instead, they take their own camp. Vision is provided by Medivh, so they know exactly what's happening and how far the opponent is away. But they are playing towards level 16 now for the next objective. It was a high risk, high reward, well, let's call it a high risk, medium reward play that they had in front of them, and they just said, like, you know what, it's not worth it. Let's play around level 16. It's big talents coming in for us. First of all, we got the stable portal right here. Second of all, we get the paint and red, which is going to be great for Reyna, for survivability. Let's wait for the 16 and then play around it. Our opponent is still ahead of us, so let's not make any dumb moves. So good discipline from the Horde. And let's see if it pays off or if the Alliance is ripping them a new one on objective number 3. As the top lane is under the control of the Horde for now, thanks to the Shaman camp. Yeah, already. Ural jumping in again, trying to control Sonya in particular. Tracer, the shield is out. Nice. A lot of damage as they're starting to cluster a little bit around it, but still saving the initial target. And Tracer herself is pretty low. Can't dodge those auto attacks. That's of course a problem. They are ahead again on the objective. The blue team is. The Alliance is looking for Punisher number 3. Medivh is in trouble. Here comes the polymorph though. The polybomb is in. And nice, Yasuo immediately with a good sound barrier, saving Sonya and the rest of them. They're still taking the lead here. No kill so far. It's a party, baby. Mosh Pit is coming in. There's the Horrify as a follow-up, and that's a dead Imperius. Ana is about to go down too, and it's a triple, baby, as Noah comes in and grabs another kill. Well done. Look at that beautiful setup. Imperius is dead first, the Mosh Pit, and also the follow-up from Gul'dan, and then they get the triple kill as Ana and Reyna all die. Nicely done. 7 kills to 3. The Alliance is ahead, and they're also about to get another objective. They're waiting it out a little bit. They wait for the defense at the top. Sonya is able to hold on to the fort for the team, and then they lock in the Frozen Punisher and can now move through the middle to maybe take the keep. 2 levels ahead. Looking good here. So let's see. What do we have over on the right side? At this point, damage output would also kind of be interesting. 31,000 for Medivh, who's the only one, by the way, on this team that hasn't died yet. Gul'dan and ETC haven't died either. Both of them on the Alliance side, of course. But here comes the big push. And that's, of course, the big question right now. Can you hold on to the keep somehow? And I honestly doubt it. With the Khaldor camp behind it too, look how quickly this one is getting burned down. There's absolutely no chance. The Punisher comes in for some additional action. If they had 20, they would probably try to move for core. As they don't have that yet, they're not making any moves. Core shields are getting scratched a little bit, but yeah, that keep is down. We got 44,000 damage for Gul'dan, 44k for Tracer. So both of them are even on that. And here comes again the move down to the bottom of the map as they're trying to go for an additional play. Yes, there's another camp, and we keep coming back to the camp control. Mercenary experience, they're tripling it by now. Yeah, over here. Uh-oh, that's Sonya dead, guys. Okay, the counter kill against Medivh at least, but it's not over yet. Party time! Ah, but this time ETC dies too. And this shit just keeps happening, doesn't it? Every single time you think, okay, the Alliance, now they finally have it, this keeps happening. They start to get slaughtered in these encounters. There's the Mosh Pit initially that actually looked decent, and then of course it turned. ETC dies, Medivh dies, and then we have Tracer also eliminated. Brutal. Also, Yasuo is a bit alone over here. There's no way he's gonna get out of that situation, is he? Oh, maybe. Are you serious? The great escape of Lucio. Oh my god, level 20 and he just slides out. Yeah, the Juke Master 2000 has been crowned in this game. Unbelievable. I have no idea how he found that wiggle room, but yeah, Yasuo is just sliding out there, eats one shot of the fort and is able to make his way out. Now the Horde has kind of clawed their way back into this a little bit, but let's not forget that they're still an entire level behind. Well, at this point not quite anymore, but you get my drift. So they will try and lock the 20 in before the next objective is up, and they should be able to do that. Shouldn't really be a problem. The lanes are really pushed out too hard. There's still a couple of waves in. The objective hasn't been announced yet. Once that happens, another 30 seconds. Masquerade, yeah. Horrify, and that's probably a dead. Oh, nice portal But yeah, that's still a kill. That is still a kill. Yeah, and let's just look at that setup. Look at how that was actually beautiful. Look how he moves in from the bottom. A Horrify, it hits him hard. And even with the portal control, he can't get away here. Those are exactly those plays that you want to make. It was really, really nicely done. They're sneaking in with one hero coming in from behind. The rest rotates in at the top. They're waiting it out. And this happens when you overstay on lane. So it was a bit too greedy. He's going to be back for the objective, as you can see. 30 seconds for Imperius to come back on lane, or on map. And we have the objective at the bottom. But it leads still to another keep eliminator up at the top. So that's the problem here. With Imperius down, the Alliance is saying, guys, we have an advantage right now, let's use it. They don't have their main tank. Let's move in with a 5 versus 4 and we go for the keep. If they try to defend it, we push in the minion wave and we might be able to get an additional kill. And then we can stagger deaths on them. And of course, the red team just doesn't really take that risk because it could end the game. So they have to bite the bullet here. They have to simply accept that they're going to lose the top keep. They have lost the one in the middle too. But now they have to fight and they have to throw everything against the Alliance. They have to make that play right now. And they're going to try. They're already starting to move on to the objective, but it's 20 stacks in favor of the Alliance as we speak, which doesn't make it any easier. And of course, the blue team has time. The blue team has plenty of time. They got the top lane pushing, and if those catapults make it to the core, that would be fantastic. So they can really take their time with the approach, but they still, of course, want to fight back into this and see if there's a chance for a kill. And that's exactly what they're looking for right now. Nano boost on Imperius this time. Yeah, they're starting to go in again, and this time we could actually see the lockdown against Sonya. Not so much. Double catapult at the top, soon TM down here. The fight continues, and Urel is zoned out slightly. Has still the ult up, so not really in danger, but 37 stacks against 23 tell you all that you need to know here. Seems like another objective for the blue team, and they get it. Modern Punisher, Urel is down, Sonya too. They're trying to look for the double kill in the backline. Ana low and escapes, or does she? They go for Trace. Oh, they go for Trace, and she just gets blown up, but Yasuo comes in with the kill. Yeah, I'll lose your baby over here. Coming in hot and tries to go for another one. Death Wish. Oh my god. Portal's out on everything over here. And might actually escape. Gia. He gets away. Yes. What a cool move. But yeah, look at this, by the way. This was the final move from Lucio as he comes in for the big kill, as we now have the bot lane getting pressured. Yasuo comes in, gets the kill against Jimmy. What a fight and what an escape. Beautiful plays over here. But all of the keeps are now gone. ETC is the only one that hasn't died even once in this game. Nano Boost and Masquerade as they are trying to defend the core. But this is looking horrible and there's just no way. The Alliance is at least going to get one win today. The Horde with the 2-1 victory. But Infernal Shrine ends in favor of the blue team as they are locking in the W. GG and well played.